All right, let's talk about something huge. I mean, literally huge. When you're building a massive skyscraper, a sprawling power plant, one of these mega projects, how on earth do you actually know if you're on track? Well, today we're going to dive into the numbers and see how progress is really measured.
I mean, really think about that for a second. We're talking about thousands of moving parts, mountains of materials, and years of work. You can't just, eyeball it. You can't walk by a half-finished building and go, yeah, that looks about 60% done. No way. You need a system. You need cold, hard data.
Okay, so let's get into it. The very first thing you have to understand is that trying to find that one single percentage of completion, it can feel like you're navigating a giant maze. There are just so many different things to keep track of, from the engineering blueprints all the way to the concrete being poured on site. So here's the secret. There is no single magic method to do this. Instead, what project managers have is a whole toolbox full of different approaches. And the real skill is knowing which tool to pull out for which job.
So let's actually open up that toolbox and take a peek inside. What are these specific techniques they're using to measure progress on all the different pieces of a huge project?
And what's so cool is just how varied these tools are. For something really repetitive, you might use units completed. Think counting how many miles of road you paved. But for a key achievement, like finally getting that crucial permit, you'd use milestones. It's a simple yes or no. It's either done or it's not. Physical completion is more of a visual check, while weighted activities is about assigning importance to different tasks. And then you've got level of effort, which tracks ongoing work like project admin. See, every tool tells a slightly different part of the story.
Okay, so having a great set of tools is one thing, but you also need a blueprint to use them effectively, right? You need a system that brings all these different measurements together so you get one clear, coherent picture.
And that is where something called the Project Progress Measurement System, or PPMS for short, comes into play. Now, this isn't just another tool. This is the instruction manual for the entire toolbox. It's that formal framework that makes sure everyone is measuring things the exact same way, creating a single source of truth for how the project is actually doing.
A really solid system like this works like a well-oiled machine. It all starts with a WBS-based measurement. Fancy term, but it just means you break the whole project down into smaller, more manageable chunks. Then you use a weighting system to decide how important each chunk is. After that, earned value tracking lets you monitor the dollar value of the work you've actually finished. You're getting daily updates from the site, and you're tying it all together with the master's schedule. It's basically a machine for turning chaos into clarity.
And what this system really gives you is a view into the three key dimensions of progress. A PPMS isn't just looking at one thing. It's constantly asking, are we on schedule? Is the physical work actually getting done? And are we staying on budget? It's like having a 3D view of your project's health.
All right, that's enough theory. Let's see how this all comes together in the real world. How do you take all of that data and boil it down to one single powerful number?
Okay, so let's picture a typical mega project. The first thing you'll notice is that not all phases are created equal. Construction and procurement, they carry the biggest weight here, 35% each. That means they have the biggest impact on the overall progress. Engineering is next at 25%, and that initial setup work, the preliminaries, that's just a small slice at 5%.
Now check this out. This is where the math happens. Take a look at engineering. It's 90% complete, which sounds amazing, right? But because its total weight is only 25%, its actual contribution to the overall project is 22.5%. Now compare that to construction. It's only 40% done, but because it's such a heavy hitter, it's already contributed 14% to the total progress. It's all about perspective.
So the magic is really in this simple but super powerful formula. All you do is multiply the completion percentage of each phase by its weight, and then you just add them all up.
And there it is. All that complexity, the design work, the purchasing, the concrete, the permits, all of it gets synthesized into one single clear metric. The total progress of our project is 61.5%. That's the number you can actually work with.
But, getting that number is really just the beginning. The real skill is using it to understand the project's health, to read its vital signs. So what does 61.5% actually tell us?
This is where the real management magic kicks in. They take that progress data, our 61.5%, which has a technical name, earned value, or EV, and they compare it to two other crucial numbers. First, they check it against the planned value, PV, which is where they plan to be at this point. That gives them the Schedule Performance Index, or SPI, which instantly answers the question, are we on time? Then they compare it to the actual cost, AC, which is what they've spent. That gives them the Cost Performance Index, or CPI, which answers, are we on budget? Simple as that.
And really, at the end of the day, that's what this whole system is about. It's not about creating fancy reports just for the sake of it. It's about taking an incredibly complex reality and translating it into clear, simple signals that let a project manager make smart, timely decisions.
Which kind of leaves us with this one final thought to chew on. In a world where we have these amazing tools to measure almost anything, maybe the real challenge for managing these massive projects isn't just about collecting the data anymore. Maybe it's about developing the wisdom to understand what that data is truly telling us.